Hello everyone, today I want to talk about a recent event that happened in the UK and the media response from it and how I think that could be hugely detrimental to the YouTube platform, online gun creators, and the whole slew of firearms content that you would like to view on the internet. So for those of you that are unaware, there was an event where a licensed firearms owner in the UK used that firearm to commit some sort of mass atrocity. We're not going to directly talk too much about the specific events because I think it's unwise. I took the article that I found online and I copied all the information from it because I didn't want to show the person's face. Because I just don't think it's worth mentioning, and I don't think it's worth showing. So we are now going to switch over to the topic of today, discussing how I think the media response to this could lead to a situation that we've seen even more amplified with the targeting of gun content on the internet. Before we really get going though, I do want to say thank you to everyone that supports the channel. Thank you to everyone who comments, even the people that like to comment about how big my forehead is. I assure you, it does not bother me. It does not hurt me. If it hurt me, I would not have made it through middle school. Thank you to everyone that supports this channel. Real big thank you to Route 66 Shooting Sport Park. I really appreciate their support. They're an awesome range down in San Bernardino, California. If you're not aware of them and you're in the area, I highly recommend you check them out. You can do all sorts of shooting. They're always doing some fun competition events on the weekend, as well as many bays that are open, whether you want to shoot shotgun, whether you want to shoot steel targets, whether you want to shoot some action shooting at a competitive match, whatever it is, they got it. You can do it there. Route 66 Shooting Sport Park, big supporter of me. Thank you. So we're going to take a look at this here. The article title is a little bit different. It was changed from earlier. Earlier today, it was talking about how the U.S. gun influencer content led to the actual events that led to a horrible incident in the UK. And we're going to kind of read some of the highlighted and the underlined points here because I think it's very relevant. Now, the article itself had a link to a video from one of the police chiefs discussing the event and how they were discussing how it was not being investigated as a terrorist incident, but there's a whole lot of information that we should really break down here. This main article revolves around the information that happened on the day and some comments from Gil Marshall Andrews, chair of the Gun Control Network, which, apparently there is still a lobby for gun control in UK, even though they have some of the most strict laws in the world. Maybe not the most strict, but it's almost impossible for the average person to get a gun and get a gun license. So they urged that the UK internet firms to block US-based channels glorifying weapons ownership. And this is the big point, because what they want to do is target the internet and use the internet to censor and control what you can and cannot see. We're already seeing this happen, but after an event like this, when this is the push, I see this as a huge potential, just catastrophic series of events that could lead to gun content on the internet just being erased. Now, that's why I am personally, and why many other people back up their videos to various alternative platforms. The one that I'm using lately has been Odyssey. It works fairly well. Davison posted long rants on his YouTube page demonstrating his hatred for women and support for the incel, involuntary celibate movement, which has been linked to atrocities in America. He also documented his own declining mental health and mentions both depression and autism. So again, we're looking at this here. This article is acknowledging the fact that the real problem here is that a mentally unwell man was living in the society and was not diagnosed or was not properly cared for, because I think that's a huge problem. We talk a lot about mental health when it comes to the gun control debate, but I don't think we talk about it enough in the sense that we don't actually support it. I think a lot of people say, oh, it's a mental health problem, but then they don't want to actually discuss the real problems and actually, well, how do we make sure that that's accessible? How do we help the people that need help? How do we get those dangerous people that are proven to be dangerous into a more safe location, get them the help they need, and then help them become a more productive member of society? Now, I hate taxes, but there's a lot of things that we might be able to use those taxes on instead of, funding the Taliban, whatever it is. Now, they also revealed that he was subscribed to several US-based firearms channels, including ones providing training on how to use guns. So they're responding to new information. Mr. Marshall Andrews said, anybody who has an interest in guns should not be a licensed firearms owner. They should not have a license for guns. So what they're saying is that anyone that's interested in guns should not have the ability to own a gun. Do people that have no interest in guns spend money on guns? This man was mentally unwell, and he should have been given the support and the care he needed so that he could be not fucking insane. But apparently, that's not the real problem. Let's focus on the guns. Let's not focus on, hey, this guy actually needs help. Maybe we can help him not be a danger to everyone. She added, if the police know or can find out whether one of their licensed firearms holders is indulging in these YouTube items, that they should confiscate the weapons. It's a clear indication of an unhealthy attitude to guns. Yes, you heard it here, folks. Watching a YouTube video, including this one, could very well mean that you have an unhealthy attitude to guns. Doesn't matter if you want to educate people on how to be safe, legal, do whatever it is that you want to do, how to properly defend yourself in the event that you have to. You have an unhealthy attitude. I'm going to need you to change that. I want to show you a few things. Among the channels that was consumed by them, one of them was one that said would offer the chance to learn a fighting mindset that will help you win that fight. Which I understand that the concept of defending yourself sounds very violent. The idea of being able to have the physical means or the physical tools to defend yourself is a concept that does require violence. Killing someone, attacking someone in defense of yourself is a form of violence. However, it is a form of justified violence. I don't think you'll find a single video out there on the internet saying, hey, I gotta roll that statement real quick back. I don't think you will find any YouTuber out there who is of good mind who is going to be saying, hello everyone, on today's video we are going to be teaching people how to commit mass atrocities. That's not what these videos are. It's almost always entirely, today we're going to be teaching you how to defend yourself in the unlikely event that you would need to do whatever it is. And it's always based around self-defense and self-preservation or preservation of others in the event that an aggressor is attacking. The other two videos that they talked about, one was my favorite shotguns with an exclamation point and what gun would Jesus carry? And those were two of the videos that they mentioned him being interested in or having subscribed to. Now, that my favorite shotguns is most likely from the Gun Collective, which is just funny to see. And then the what gun would Jesus carry? God, family, and guns. I am not personally a religious person, but I find channels like these to be generally incredibly wholesome. So I see this as like a totally reasonable video for the average person that's into guns to watch because it might be thought-provoking and it might be comedy to them. Now, my favorite shotguns, yeah, if someone's interested in shotguns, and especially in the UK where you're fairly limited as far as what types of firearms you can own, yeah, you might look up shotguns that are good. And I think that's just, they're lumping in this idea of enjoying firearms with being an evil person. And I think that's really the problem. So when we look at things like that happened in YouTube with the adpocalypse, you know, what happened is somebody on YouTube, some Karen, says, oh, look, an ISIS beheading video. I'm going to voluntarily click on that. They click on that, and then up pops up a pop-up ad for Ford. And then they say, oh, it appears as if Ford supports the Taliban. And that's really how we saw this whole adpocalypse thing, because then the algorithms and whatnot have been very harsh. What is allowed on YouTube has become much more restrictive because they're trying to protect the innocent Karens from accidentally stumbling across a video and then seeing an advertisement associated with it. So it's pretty lame if you ask me. But I think that this is very much how this could go. Now, one of the points that they brought up in this article, the level of gun crime in the UK is one of the lowest in the world, the National Crime Agency has claimed. Okay, that's interesting. Let's talk more about some of the crime stats in the UK by laying this over it. Now, what you might see here is a big purple America. And now this is correctly scaled for its position along the border and whatnot because, you know, maps are distorted. So yeah, you got to kind of reference it like this. Now, this is America. This is how big America is, right? And over there, off in the corner, right around here, that's the United Kingdom, essentially an island that is maybe the size of 2/3 of California. It's probably a little bit more population dense in many areas, but here's what America looks like. And then there's what the UK looks like. So do we think it's really a fair comparison? I don't think so. And yeah, when you live on an island where you can very easily or much more easily control what comes in and out, and you've never had a history of gun culture, it is going to be much more likely that someone is going to use a firearm to commit a crime. However, that doesn't mean that violent crime and robberies aren't uncommon there. So we're going to switch back just to the camera here. So I think when you look at videos like this or articles like this, you might think that it's just nothing to worry about. And it probably is going to end up being not much to worry about. But this kind of mindset right here about attacking the culture of firearms ownership. And now, if you've watched a Colion Noir video in the past forever, you've probably noticed at the end of his videos, he says, right now, gun culture is under attack, something like that, right? And it's not a lie. It's not an exaggeration. Gun culture, the ability to have the means to protect yourself, is constantly being vilified, controlled, and restricted. People don't want you to have the ability to protect themselves because they think that you being unarmed would mean that they would be more safe. I don't know about you, but my guns have never been used to hurt anyone, and I don't have any intentions of using any of my firearms, which I acquired legally, to harm anyone. Now, do you think the criminal on the street is thinking the same thing? Most likely not. So Pandora's box has been opened. You might be able to make an argument that if guns didn't exist at all, nobody would be able to shoot anyone. Because obviously, if there were no guns ever, nobody would ever be killed by a firearm. However, in the United States, there are more guns than people, I'm pretty sure. In fact, in the state of California last year, they purchased 22 million firearms, I believe, which isn't even the most purchased in a given year in the state of California. I believe 2016 might have actually been higher. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, 22 million guns, and there's only like 40 million citizens in California. And that's just what was purchased last year. I think it's going to be pretty hard to remove every firearm off the street. And to the people that own them lawfully and legally, those are the people who would be most affected by this kind of gun control. And I think situations like this, where they're now trying to attack the culture of it, I see this as a huge threat to our existence on this platform, which is why I encourage every gun content creator to sign up for Odyssey or some other alternative platform of your own choosing, potentially even multiple, to have the ability to have your information still reach an audience. Those alternative platforms are definitely just that, alternative platforms. I might get 30 to 50,000 views on a video on here, and on Odyssey, I might get 1,000. That would be very surprising. There's just a smaller audience on there, and generally the audience you're trying to reach on there are people that might already agree with you. So I'm still going to be staying on platforms like this, but I see this as the potential next way that they're going to attack it. This war on the culture of firearms and firearms ownership is multifaceted. We have, the anti-gun groups trying to pass laws that would just ban guns of certain types, right? Then you have people trying to file lawsuits against gun makers, like the video that we just talked about yesterday, where Polymer 80 is being sued by 2 cops. Very cool of them. Very happy for that. And then you have situations where people are just trying to sue actual firearms regulators, and that's a bad thing, right? Then on the other side of just the culture of it, you have what is wrong speak and what is allowed to be said on certain platforms like YouTube. And now I'm going to stay on this platform, and I'm going to continue to dance like a good boy when they say dance, because I want to be able to continue to spread this message of firearms ownership and the importance of it. But I understand that at some point, my channel could completely disappear, and there would be nothing I could do to get it back. All because someone at YouTube decides that what I said was a little bit too wrong. Let that sink in for you. Determine what you want to do with that information. Maybe join an alternative platform as well to watch your videos, watch videos that you enjoy over there. Let me know what you guys think down below. You all know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.